and we're moving parts at the same time. So if you do a Control I, and if you want to, you can zoom in, and basically you can see that we have changed the slot that's sitting in this part and the slot and holes that are sitting in this sheet metal part, along with its tab moved along there. Simply double click out in space, because now what we want to do is we want to move this front face and this hole. Now you can come over here and you can select the hole first or the face. It doesn't matter which one you select, but hit the space bar because you want to add this face to it, and then simply grab onto the steering wheel and you're going to move it towards the front of the mower, which is to the right. And we're just going to move that again per the instructions, 25 millimeters to the right. And what we're going to be able to show here is that we've moved that face and that hole, but also what's going on behind the scenes is that the other side, because of live rules, we're picking up the axis of this hole and we're picking up coplanar of this other face on the other side, so it automatically changed that for you even though we have symmetry turned off. Okay, so at this point just double click out in space, and what we want to do now is we want to have our focus be on smart priority, so Alt S, right mouse click onto this part, and we want to show and tell everyone about live sections, and this is dealing with a sheet metal part. Now on this one we need our focus to be back on faces, so Alt F, and by doing Alt F we can select this line. Now at this point we need symmetry turned back on, so you need to hit S, and you can at this point hit S. That will turn symmetry back on. Okay, just to show you, you don't have to show that, okay, because it will clear the set, but we'll go back and then select 35 and then just change it from 35 to 25. So you just want to make sure that you have in the view these two faces, so that whenever it does show, that we're actually showing some symmetry whenever we're making an edit to just a live section. Remember, we didn't grab any 3D geometry, we're grabbing a 2D sketch of a section through a part to actually drive the geometry. Okay, so from this standpoint we want to add a couple of parts, and these are actually going to be non-graphical parts to our assembly. And so what you're going to look under is under the draft folder, you're going to see that there's going to be a 20 and 21 part numbers that are inside of here. Just hold down your shift key, drag and drop it in. You don't care where you put them because they're non-graphical parts. And what we're actually bringing into the assembly here is you'll see, you can go to the file properties to show that we're looking at painting or powder coating, and we're also looking at oil for the actual engine. And so we want to be able to define what the quantities are for each one of these. So this is the paint, so it's going to be 1 liter. And the oil, we're just going to say we're going to put it at 4 liters. Now we're just going to go ahead and save off the assembly, and then go ahead and close and return back to the draft. Now once you're back, of course we're going to get the gray boxes around our views, and so we want to talk about that. And this is where you would introduce the drawing view tracker, which is telling the user what has actually changed and where it is changed relative to the actual drawing file. And so you can just go over here and say we want to update those views. And here we just want to show off that whenever you select on an element, just hit Alt F, and that will take you directly to the one that is there and what has actually changed. So we can see that that's changed. That was 35, now it's 25. You can go to another one, shows that it's there. In this case here, since we modified this part, it showed that this moved. It's okay. The system is just letting you know that it may have moved, and that's all right. You can go ahead and just say clear that selection, and it's out of the tracker now, because we don't need to worry about that one. And then, but here's the critical one. This last one, hit Alt F, and it actually takes you to the next page with the dimension tracker, and it's showing you that it is tracking that this dimension has changed, which is actually the length of that sheet metal file that we were choosing from. So at this point, it leads you into our next step, and that is going to get a bin table of this particular sheet metal file. And what we want to do is we want to take a look at the properties, and let's say you want to give this a manufacturing bin table. So you can just type in that information, hit OK, and then go ahead and place that information out there. And so now we have a title for this, and we have our sequence, and we have our sequence numbers. And then to move to the next, we go over to the whole information. And what we're going to do here is show the whole table. And you can go over here, and we basically want to give size and location. And we're going to sort them by hole size for each hole is what's going to be selected. You can just select your X, your Y. Window around everything like so, hit finish, and you can see that it's maybe a little too tall, so we can go over here, or we want to not stack them, but we'll go over here and select a longer list, and you can just move your drawing around to get it to where you have it fitting inside here. And you can see that we have a label for each one inside of here, which pulls them out very nicely with B and D and with a point number, and you can see each one inside of here, and it calls it out pretty nicely. And that concludes this instructional movie for the draft